Greetings everyone, I'm Blessing Wacha and I'll be presenting my project which uses Information Communications Technologies for Development ICT4D initiative to solve a community problem. The project is about creating mobile computing labs and also equipping the existing fixed labs for use in training the current crop of primary and secondary school educators in the Amatole District Municipality who lack the skills to use and incorporate ICTs in their day-to-day teaching. The second objective is to enroll learners who are currently in their further education training phase in computer literacy classes to make them ready for tertiary education. A study by Sutherland in 2020 showed that due to the ailing state of education and poor quality infrastructure in South Africa, there is a serious shortage of academics, workers, and supply managers needed for the fourth industrial revolution. Another study by Matevula and Uweziyama in 2014 showed that the lack of critical infrastructure in schools and integration of ICTs has also contributed and impacted negatively on educators' ability to perform their curriculum administration functions. Some who have these skills, they have not managed to use them in a way that is bearing in their day-to-day curriculum development and the education of students. Now, the ICT4D aspects of this project come in the fact that we are using technology to assist the poor and marginalized in developing communities, as well as applying the technology and digital tools in furthering international development by just having 4IR as one of our output objectives. So things like making ICT available through the creation of mobile computer labs, training of educators and learners in the use of these ICTs, facilitating the actual use of ICTs by the training in their work and academics, bringing impact by increasing ICT skills and contributing ICT literate workforce needed for 4IR. All these are aspects of that makes this project an ICT4D project. This project is also applying the living lab methodology since it is large scale and it's being undertaken by a student to tackle a real world problem. Thus, it qualifies as an enabler driven open innovation living lab since it utilizes the network public-private people partnership framework. We also have some part of the project which identifies with the community-based participatory research, things like identifying the community of facilitators and the learners themselves as the community. Also building on the existing resources like their labs that they already have which are going to fix, give them a voice and a sense of ownership of the project, and also the fact that me as a researcher, I'm going to make a point of introducing myself to the governing bodies and those in charge in the communities to ensure a smooth cooperation. The value chain, the ICT value chain aspects of this project have precursors like the lack of ICT skills in educators and learners. Our operational domain is within the primary and secondary schools. The proposed partners in this project include the Department of Education, private donors, and the communities local to those schools. The inputs to our project include support from the community, government, and the department itself. The documents that we have include the feasibility and implementation documents, as well as the policy documents. We also have inputs like funding from the Department of Basic Education and the private donors. The human resources as well are inputs like your project coordinators, the trainers, technicians, and drivers. The intermediates of this project include computers, mobile routers, portable projectors, and software. Policies we could develop for this project in terms of digital harm policy, we have ensure that the use of these laboratories does not negatively affect the users and individuals and communities as well as the nation through things like unethical hacking, cyberbullying, and leaking of private information. We also stick to green ICT, which adheres to acquiring technological infrastructure that preserves environment and livelihoods. We will also stick to the Black economic empowerment and employment equity rules imposed by the government at an institutional level. In terms of finance, this is going to be non-profit. There's going to be minimal individual data collected. The project will be hiring people based on merit. That's the hiring policy we're going to use. The diffusion of innovation work is highlighted in the sense that the project has a very much relative advantage to the current situation, since we are going to prepare people to use ICTs effectively instead of just letting them choose who does what when. This project is easy to try and to provide tangible results by assessing the level of adoption of ICT use. There is also the use of the DIGDA model that we can do in this project by having different information systems like your education policy, training operations, and your ICT and integration and ICT use information systems. This can be used by your policymakers, your managers, and your trainers. Also, we have learners as part of this model and the educators who are being trained, and the system itself that is available for the support of learners. The economic growth that we are going to realize is, since we are going to buy from local business, their growth is going to be enhanced. We also attract external investments in form of tech and communications. E-commerce and new markets will be realized within the community. The Living Lab best benefits include social transformation, as people will have new ways of communication as they explore ICTs. We will also bridge the knowledge gap with other parts of the world, and opportunity for technology businesses to thrive through introduction of new products and services, since there is a bigger base for the use of these technologies. The quick view of the lab itself is just using a central router to connect to the ISP, connected to a server and a network printer. We also have an access point that connects our desktops, thin clients, laptops, tablets, and wireless devices. One of the other things that we will realize is the alleviation of information poverty, since people are going to be trained in new technologies, and then so employment opportunities for local facilitators will increase household incomes and impact on families. Will also upgrade poor network infrastructure because of the new investments coming, reduce travel costs for families and individuals, since they are now having access to electronic services. Environmental sustainability will be realized through suppliers who subscribe to Green ICT, and we will also track the use and management of disposal of this used equipment of ICT. We will enforce dematerialization by using digital instruction manuals, and also proposing electronics use more than physical papers. We will also have climate change awareness discussions and create environmental clubs which partner with the community to create awareness. I think this is a short summary of the project, which highlights how it qualifies to be an ICT4D engineered project. Thank you.